So you want to start collecting Pokemon cards. That is so exciting. Pokemon as a franchise has been around for almost 30 years and spans the trading card game that we'll talk about today, as well as many iterations of anime and dozens of different games. It is a franchise that has connected millions of people across multiple generations around the world. And now you're looking to step into it yourself. As somebody who collects Pokemon cards and loves the franchise, it can be a daunting task stepping into actually collecting these small pieces of paper, these pieces of these cards that have images on them. And you probably have some questions. And so as we take a look at some of those questions, the first one we'll start with is, where do I start? There are so many different cards to look at, so many different places to get them. And so you're probably wondering, where do I actually start? Where do I get my feet wet in this venture? Next up, where do I buy cards? Maybe you've been to a place and you haven't been able to find cards. Maybe you just don't know where to start. And so we're going to talk about where you can actually buy cards. And then next, is this a hobby for me? Like any hobby, you want to be able to weigh the pros and cons. Is this something that maybe you saw on Instagram or TikTok and it caught your eye, but you're not sure if it's worth the financial cost? We're going to look at that today, as well as a handful of other things as we look at you stepping into this really amazing hobby that you're able to express yourself in. But I want to make sure that you know all the pros and the cons of the hobby. And so you might be wondering, why trust this small time content creator, this person who has a few shorts on their YouTube? And that's a totally valid question. I am somebody who started collecting Pokemon cards at a very young age in elementary school. I remember passing and sneaking them in the classroom, trading cards. And then I kind of fell out of the hobby, but not out of love with the franchise, and found myself about a year ago starting to collect again. And I noticed that as I was stepping back in, I could tell that the hobby and that the market had changed from when I left. And so I was met with a lot of questions myself. I ended up doing a lot of research. And that's my goal in this channel, and specifically in this video, is to help you avoid some of those pitfalls and answer those questions that I had. And so the first question that we're going to ask is, why are you collecting? Maybe you recently discovered the Pokemon games and the Pokemon TCG, and you're getting into it now as a first timer, as somebody who's never experienced it. Like I said, maybe you saw it on social media or a friend picked it up. And so that is what has brought you into the sport, which is super exciting. It's a pretty low entry level to jump in and start collecting. But maybe you're like me and you're jumping back in after a long hiatus. Maybe you collected when you were younger, but now you're looking to either start your collection over or add to it now. And then there's the other option that's become a pretty big point in the last few years, is maybe you're collecting as an investment for the future. Maybe you are saving up for retirement or a kid's college fund. And believe it or not, there are ways of collecting Pokemon cards that can allow you to meet that goal. But the most important thing is establishing, why are you wanting to start collecting? And now that you know that you are wanting to start collecting, what are you looking for? What specifically are you going to be adding to your collection? Are you going to be adding specific Pokemon? Are you going to be the trainer or the collector that is collecting all Charizard sets, or maybe all Gardevoir sets? Or maybe you're going to be a little bit more diversified, and maybe you're going to be collecting cards from specific sets or eras. And to explain that briefly, Pokemon card releases are normally based around the video games, And so those are going to be your eras, the bigger chunks of time. So we just finished up the Scarlet and Violet era. And within each era, there's going to be different sets that are released. And so the last set to release in the Scarlet and Violet era was the Black Bolt and White Flare. We just had the Mega Evolutions drop from this new era and set. And so maybe you're going to be collecting cards from specific sets or eras. And then finally, maybe you're collecting specific types of cards. Maybe you like the way that certain types of cards look, and maybe you're going to be collecting all SIRs, all full arts that are beautiful images of the Pokemon. Or maybe you're going to be collecting EX cards, specific types of cards, or gold foil cards where they are gold with either matte or glossy finishes. You're collecting stuff that looks appealing to the eyes as opposed to having certain sentimental value. And that's another great option. The next question is, what is your budget? Your parents and financial advisors were right. Money does matter as we get older. And so what is your budget going to be as we start collecting Pokemon cards, as you jump into this new hobby? And my biggest point of advice is, regardless of what your monthly spending limit is, your weekly spending limit is, it could be $5 a week, it could be $50 a month, it could be $1,000 a month. Whatever that budget is that you set for yourself, I would encourage you to stick to it. Whatever it's going to be, stick to it, because you don't want this hobby to become a financial strain. You don't want to spend a lot in the first few months and then in the following months realize that you've put a financial strain on yourself or those around you, because then it becomes less enjoyable. And so now that we have a budget, the question is, where do we buy cards? Maybe as you are looking at getting into this hobby, you have ventured into a Walmart or a Target or a GameStop, a place where cards are often sold, and you've noticed the shelves and the aisles where the Pokemon products are supposed to be are pretty vacant. And so that is a downside of this amazing boom of people joining the hobby, is there are people called scalpers who are going to get to these major box stores early in the morning on day of releases, buy up all the product, and then hold on to it because they get to set the price. And so as you think about different places of where you can buy, I'm going to run through a few of them here. The first, and my personal favorite, is eBay. eBay has millions of people selling hundreds of thousands of cards every day. There's different price points. You can pay for shipping. You can allow the person that you're buying it from to pay for shipping. So there's a lot of flexibility in eBay. But one of my favorite things is how secure it is, and the fact that there is buyer insurance. So if you buy a card and it comes in damaged or it isn't what it was supposed to be, eBay will actually work with you very well to help resolve that problem, get you your money back, and hopefully get you the card that you were looking for. And so eBay is my personal favorite. It's where I do the bulk of my buying and selling of cards, just because there is such a wide variety of cards. Next up, another online platform is going to be TCG Player. TCG Player sells a plethora of different trading cards, and they have a large inventory of Pokemon cards where individual sellers are coming together on one site and selling these cards, much like eBay. You're going to be able to price check different cards. But what I love about TCG Player is they have a built-in feature to their website where you can track the overall price and the market value of cards. And so you're not buying cards as blind as you might be on eBay. You can see if a card is undervalued, overvalued, and bid and buy accordingly. Next up, we have card shows and brick and mortar stores. I love the aspect of being able to buy and sell cards in person and not just in an online format. But there are some drawbacks to card shows and brick and mortar stores, being that depending on your location, you might not have a large availability of this type of venue. But it is great. You can go to these. Normally you can kind of barter with the price. And so if the price seems a little high, maybe you want to sell a card, you can work with these stores and these retailers to affect the price. And then finally, we have other online retailers as well as other brick and mortar box chains. So these are your Walmarts, your GameStops, your Targets, places like that sell cards. The benefit of these is that you're able to get these packs and these cards normally at market value as opposed to the inflated, outside market value. And so there is benefit. There's pros and cons. A lot of times you're not going to be able to find cards in these stores, but great place to look. So now the question is how should I start collecting? How should you as a collector start? And I'm going to give advice that I saw on somebody else's channel. I've seen on a lot of channels. And it's kind of a fun little challenge, but it's a great way to get your feet wet when it comes to the hobby of collecting Pokemon cards. And so it's a pretty simple 3-ish step idea. And what it's going to start with is you're going to want to set that budget. You're always going to want to start with a budget, whether it's $100, whether it's $500, whether it's $5. You're going to want to start with your budget. And from that, you're going to want to pick out a few cards, or maybe a singular card, depending on the price point. And you're going to want that to be what you're hunting for, what you're looking for. And so you're going to pick out, that Charizard or that Gardevoir, and that's what you're specifically looking for. You're not looking to buy other cards, you're looking to buy those. And it's a fun little challenge to try to buy the cards that you have picked out using the money that you have set aside. And then, like any good trainer in a Pokemon video game, your goal is to go and collect them all. And so here are a few rapid fire tips and things I wish I would have known sooner as I jumped into collecting Pokemon cards again. And so the first thing is the quality of the card matters. And so depending on the condition of the card, if it looks like it has some scratches, some dings, maybe the card isn't very centered, that's going to affect the value of what you should be willing to pay for it and what others are going to be willing to buy it for down the line if you so choose to resell your cards. Now, certain cards, if you're hunting for, a first edition Charizard, it's going to be tough to find it in pristine condition. But just having that in mind, that as you're looking for cards, knowing that the condition of the card does greatly affect and impact the price of the card. Next up, graded cards matter to you. What I mean by this is some people are going to build a collection of exclusively PSA 10 graded slabbed cards. And other people are going to look for really good condition raw cards. And so maybe you're hunting that elusive Moonbreon, and you might want to buy it in a slab. Just know that you're going to pay more for it than if you were to buy it as a raw card. And if that is something that you're okay with doing, then go for it. But I don't want you to feel like based on market trends, you have to go for the uber expensive PSA 10 cards, because that might not be what you want to build your set around. Next up, master sets. Should you invest and do master sets? They look really cool. They are visually appealing. They're a great use of your bulk cards. And what a master set is like I was talking about with sets and eras of Pokemon cards, is buying from a set, ripping packs from a set, and getting all of the cards from that set. So completing the master set of that deck. And so what that does, it allows you to use cards that maybe you wouldn't otherwise collect. It allows you to put it in a very visually appealing manner. And it allows you to diversify your collection if that's something you so choose. I enjoy it. It's not for everybody, but it's a cool thought process. Next up, sealed products are meant for the long haul. And so if you are one of the people that are getting into this hobby to invest, just know that sealed products are going to be your best friend. The value of individual cards is going to fluctuate over time. There will be some cards that hold their value true for a longer period of time. But if you're looking to buy individual products, hold on to it for the goal of flipping it down the road for financial gain, for an investment, the best bet for you is going to be those sealed products, your booster boxes, your booster bundles, your ETBs, those elite trainer boxes, is going to be the best use of your time, energy, and resources. And so as you're looking in card stores or online, that's what you're going to want to focus your attention on specifically, is those sealed products. So if you buy it, don't open it. Next up, understanding the stock market. This doesn't mean that you need to be a finance bro or have a degree in business, but understanding that as the stock market changes is the same as how Pokemon card values change. So a $80 card today might be worth $100 tomorrow, might be worth $120 the next week, and then might be worth $50 the week following. And so as you're buying cards, know how the price of cards can change and fluctuate over time. Next up, you do you. When it comes to your collection, you control what goes into your collection. And so collect what you want. It doesn't have to be what's trending. It doesn't have to be what everybody else is searching after. It could be a really obscure set from 4 years ago, but the artwork and the cards mean more to you. And so as you go throughout this collection process, get what you want. And that brings me to my final point, is have fun. This is a hobby. This is something that you are doing to add happiness to your life, to have a beautiful collection of cards on a shelf or in your room, on the mantle. And these are things that you're doing to be additive. And so don't stress out. Don't let this be something that takes joy away from your life. Let it be something that's fun. And so as we go to the close, just a few closing thoughts that I had that kind of sum up the rest of the video. And the first being, you alone control your collection. You are the one who's deciding what goes into it, what you want, what you don't want. And so let it be stuff that you truly enjoy looking at, stuff that you enjoy collecting. Don't let it be things that you've just put in there for the sake of putting it in your collection. Be specific. Pick out things that you want. Next up, it takes time. It takes time to build a really nice collection. I remember when I first got back into the hobby, I would compare my collection to people on YouTube or in the community who had been collecting for 2+ decades. And it took them time. And so one of the reasons that I didn't even put up any of my cards or from my collection, and I rarely do, is because I don't want people to compare what they have to what I have, because that's not the goal here. The goal is to have fun, is to enjoy it, and know that as you're curating that, it's going to take time to build up and to find those grail cards and those cards that you've been seeking after and that you're willing to spend money. So it takes time. And next up, remember, it is a hobby, not a job. This is not something you have to do. This is something that you want to do. And so enjoy it. Let this be something that adds value to your life, that isn't a distraction or isn't something that creates financial strain or relational strain with those around you. Let this be something that you do responsibly and something that you enjoy. You get to go out on the weekend and go hunt for a card, or you track the value of a card that's on eBay. Let it be something fun for you. And so, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for taking a shot on a young YouTube channel. I love this hobby. I love this community. So if you enjoy this content, go ahead and subscribe, hit the like button, comment your favorite card in your collection or what you're hunting after, and turn on that bell for notifications. So as I drop new content, you are able to see it as it comes out. And so, as always, thank y'all so much. I'm looking forward to putting out more content down the road as we continue to build this channel. And so God bless everyone and happy collecting. Thank you so much.